Trevor, coming back to you with the next question, this would be more around the portfolio of security-centric offerings that Dell Technologies have. And if I think about that in context of a digital workspace, what comes to my mind is definitely a device through which I'm sort of accessing, and then an endpoint basically. Second would be my data. Third would be anything around the network. Fourth would be anything to do with any of the applications that I use on the endpoint. So, or the fifth dimension I can think of is possibly anything around identity access management or privileged access management. So, keeping in context of our digital workspace, what would be the, I would say, key highlights of the portfolio of solution offerings Dell Technologies have?
Yeah, and I think it's important to kind of get back to basics in some ways right now. As Amit was saying, you know, we want to keep it as simple as possible when we're looking at security and looking at protecting these new environments that we're building. And some of that simplicity is really awareness and visibility to the endpoints. Even traditionally, organizations can struggle with that visibility, and now we're sending them all over the world and to homes, and we don't know, how they're connecting back. And Dell's had a great partner for a number of years called Absolute Software, and their whole key position is visibility of endpoints. So how do we make sure we're always connected to an endpoint, regardless what network it is, where it is in the world, and giving that visibility back. And we're doing the same thing as well with our Workspace ONE solution and unified workspace capabilities to make sure that we're consolidating additional data points into a single console, so we have that data more easily available to the IT teams and to the incident management teams. I think from data-centric and making sure that the data is secure, this is, it goes a few different ways. Sometimes we're thinking physically, is that device possibly going to end up in somebody's hands when it shouldn't be? It's obviously, remote access and people hacking or possibly putting ransomware on an endpoint that then encrypts all the data on the endpoint or whatever it may be. And the way we tackle it might be from different, depending on the attack vector, we'll just determine, what's a better solution. The basics again, encryption. Are your devices encrypted? If they're now being more mobile, if there's that possibility that that device may end up in the hands of somebody that isn't or shouldn't have that data, it definitely needs to be encrypted. And Dell's had an encryption solution for many years. It's unique in that it's a policy-based encryption tool. So based on who that user is, what that user does for the organization, that tool will then encrypt those files and that data that's important to that type of user. And it makes it a bit easier to manage, and it makes it a bit more secure because it's focused on the data that's important to the organization. Network side, this is going to be quite unique, and really what my team focuses on is a bit more about how those devices connect back, as well as the application security. And we work with a partner called Netscope in that situation. And Netscope is really an organization that's designed around cloud security and the idea of zero trust. So you don't want to trust anybody that get into your environment that you want in there. And they've done a great job of bringing in cloud access security. They're doing a good job now with a zero trust framework that allows organizations to connect into corporate solutions that they would normally need a VPN or MPLS security technology put in place, which can be quite expensive. So they do this just through application security and their own servers. And then I think finally, protecting from the attackers. Some of the stuff we've seen in the news recently is actually these ransomware gangs have been saying, we won't be attacking anybody in the healthcare space. We're going to be nice. We're not going to go after them. But the concern then is, okay, are they going to be just kind of living off the land and sitting in wait and possibly attacking later on? And that's where our investment in Carbon Black really comes in. Carbon Black is a fantastic tool, not only for antivirus and virus protection, but more importantly for this kind of newer technology called EDR. It's been around for a few years, but it's kind of the next adoption for organizations to go to. And from a security perspective, it's really like having, a CCTV system on all of your endpoints and monitoring all the endpoint actions. So what that allows for is if a ransomware attack is happening on an endpoint, it'll give awareness, it'll pipe that awareness back to the IT teams, to the security teams, so they can take action more immediately.